What is up? Another episode of Fight the Burnout today with just me. Once again, remember, take one piece of advice or one nugget from here. But today I'm going to teach you one nugget. And today's topic is all about how do we deal with the traumas of law enforcement? How does this help our policing career? There's some really quick and easy ways to overcome the death, the destruction, the impacts that, offending has on us as police officers. And that one real easy way is to shift our focus. We've talked about it in the past. I talked about it a few weeks ago, shifting that focus. But how do we do that when, one of my old clients, they 3 weeks into the job had a shotgun pulled on them. So how do you deal with that? And all the emotions, on all the stuff that comes flooding up post that, with what you did, what decisions you made, what actions you took. How do we compute that? How do we, accept what we did is what we did? Well, I'm gonna go deep here for you guys. I'm gonna go deep here. You reflect. And you'll learn. There's some deeper ways. There's some, going back into your past and recognizing, what caused those actions and what fed into those decisions. And once you recognize and you go through these, we can then acknowledge and see what we did. We can accept what we did as what we did. And then we get to move on. We get to then make a decision on what we want to do next time. What do we want to practice? What do we want to think about? What do we want to focus on? What actions do we want to take? Do we need to do some continual training? Do we need to get some people to start, doing scenarios for you? Do you need to practice more scenarios? Do you need to talk to your sergeant about practicing scenarios on night shifts when it's quiet? Or coming in off duty and doing some scenarios? I used to practice, and I don't recommend doing it consistently and making it your life, but I used to practice firearms all the time, especially once I was on diplomatic protection. Because we shot every 6 weeks, we did some scenario work. But I would go to the range almost every weekend or every other weekend, and I would set myself up little scenarios. I would set myself up some targets and barricades, and I'd do, shooting competitions and get myself under that pressure so that I could know that my shooting skills were not reactive, they were second nature, that they were concreted in. So, set some time aside to train yourself mentally, because our mental game is how we deal with all of this trauma. The mental game is how we deal with seeing dead bodies in that first week. If any of you are in, you already know what I'm talking about. The suicides. How do we talk to a grieving family or a grieving widow, or a grieving widower, or kids. How do we work through that, and how do we get through the effects it has on us? We have to bring acknowledgement to ourselves and what all this causes. Having things outside the job really help as well. But we got to deal with that trauma. We got to deal with those emotions. We got to deal with those thoughts that come up. We got to work through them. We're not trying to eliminate them, because they're always there. They're already there, even before you join the police. What we're trying to do is dance with them and use them to make us better, to help us grow, to help us develop, and continually help us develop and grow. It's what I call dancing with the demons, because the demons can be very destructive. Look at any of those cops that you go, I never want to be like that cop. They're not dancing with them demons. They're trying to fight them. They're trying to push them away. They're trying to destroy them. You can't destroy the demons. Those are the little mental voices. So how we deal with the impacts, I don't even call it traumas anymore, the impacts of first responding and law enforcement is we work on ourselves. We shift our focus from this is all happening to us to this is happening for us. And we work on us. We work on the past things that we brought into this job. Because as powerful as we bring good stuff to this job, no matter what our ethnicity is, no matter what our background is, our culture is, any of it, what we bring to this job is amazing. But we also bring the negative sides. We also bring the past hurts, the past traumas, the past impacts that we've had on our lives. And if we don't work through those, we bring them with us. And we live from them. And they come back up, and they come back up, and they come back up. So if we work through them, and we acknowledge them, and we know what they are, then when those times come up, when we're telling that grieving widow that her husband just passed away, that he took his own life, and she can't dial a telephone. And then her 16-year-old daughter finds out, comes downstairs and then starts to blame herself and runs upstairs and is blaming herself. And all you want to do is give her a big ass hug. And instead you shut yourself down. That's because of my past. I brought my past with me. And instead of me wanting to show more affection and possibly get hurt myself, and you might be saying, but Chris, that's not me. And it might not be. But what is you? Who are you? You know, what are you bringing to this job that you know you could work on? Part of it, look at why you wanted to join this job in the very, very first place. The driving factor. That changing instant. Because whatever was the driver that made you want to join the police, that pain, that influence, maybe the cops did a really good job and you really liked how they worked. Well, why is it that you're not already working that way? Why is it that you're not already impacting people that way? Because whatever is causing that, you're bringing to the job and it's going to come back to you. So that's how we deal with the impacts of law enforcement and first responding. Because we see horrible stuff. Horrible things. But we also see amazing things. And if we're living from our previous impacts, then what happens is that's what we see and focus on. So that is why what we focus on is what we get. And that's why at the very beginning of this episode, we talked about focus is the number one thing. But to shift that focus, we need to figure out why it's there in the first place. So ask yourself, what is it that I need to work on? What is it that's, maybe you're already in and you're already gone, this job isn't what I thought it would be. This job isn't fun anymore. I'm searching the thrills all the time. I'm searching the adrenaline. That means that things are going not so well for you. And those little demons are taking over. So what do you need to be able to dance with them? We've got a Facebook group now. That is facebook.com/groups/policefam. That's FAM. It's all about developing our law enforcement careers. Whether you're wanting to get in, whether you're in, or whether you're, looking at getting out. We give you lots of tools like these in there. So, ask yourself right now, what's one thing for myself personally, and also for my career, that I could grow on? That I could shift? I shifted the focus of this one thing. It would impact everything. What's that one thing? Love to know. Email us at team@createfromwhy.com and come join the Facebook group. Again, that's facebook.com/groups/policefam, or just send us an email at team@createfromwhy.com And let's work through some of these demons, as I call them, and get you dancing with them, because that's how we create the most impactful police officers, the most impactful first responders, the ones that love this job after 20 years, the ones that don't burn out. So thanks for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe. Coming up on Friday, we have a very special guest of a police chief from just outside Bend, Oregon. So he's going to talk to us about what he does for his crew and what he believes makes the biggest impact for those that are getting impacted. So, talk to you guys soon. Love you all. Thanks for listening. And hope you enjoyed this. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a subscribe. Give it a like. Give it a download. And share it around. Share it with somebody that you know. We'll talk soon.